Welcome to the Coding Loft. My name is Samuel and today you will learn how to build a simple loading spinner using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I've set up a simple HTML template, so we have a background with a gradient, we have a white container in the middle, a heading called loading spinner and a button which will toggle our loading state. So right now nothing happens, that's what we will change in a moment. So here's the code so far. We have an index file, a script file which is empty and a style file. Let's walk quickly through the setup. We have our body. In here we have a div with class content, and in there we have the heading that says loading spinner and the button that you just saw. And in my styles you can see that I've imported this Google font called Inter. I've added it as the font family, and for the background I've added a gradient, aligned everything in the middle using flex and flex direction column, and the same with the content. We align the content in the middle, have a white background and a 30 pixel padding. And then for the button we also have some simple styling, so also a gradient background, some padding, and on the hover state the gradient basically flips colors. Feel free to pick your own color gradients for this project. I will link this site in the description, so it's cssgradient.io, where you can very simply create beautiful gradients and then simply copy the code to the clipboard and add it into your code. So right now we have a different gradient right here. Now I'll change it back. And let's start with writing some HTML. Down here we will have a div with the ID of loading spinner. So that's basically the container that will wrap our loading spinner. And in here we have the loading spinner. So a div with the class of loading spinner -- circle. You can name this whatever you want. And there's nothing in there yet. Let's head over to the CSS and actually start styling our loading element. So to get started, we have the container called loading spinner, and here we want to make sure that whatever the parent container, it will always span the full width, so 100%. When the parent container is the body, it has 100% of the body width. When the parent container is smaller than that, it will always fit to the size of the parent container. Then we will also center everything using flex, so display flex. Flex direction is column. We align everything in the center using align items, center, and justify content, also center. And let's give it some padding. That's it for the container. As you can see, not much has changed, but the padding has pushed the bottom upwards. So in the next step, we will actually show the loading spinner. Now the spinner itself, we call it loading spinner __ circle. Let's give it a fixed width and height of 40 pixels. So 40 pixels, same for the height. That makes sure it has a square size. For the background we will make a small trick. So we will also use a gradient, but this time not a linear gradient as we did up here, but a conic gradient. And you will see in a second what it is. So we define 3 colors, so FFF. The first one, that's white, then a light blue, it's 91B, 9FF, and a darker blue, which is #005DFF. Let's save that. And now we can see that we have a box of 40 pixels and we have a conic gradient. So it's a gradient that moves around the middle of this box. And you can probably see already where this is going. Next step, let's make it round. Border radius 50%. And now it starts to look like a loading spinner. But what we want is a white circle in the middle that lets the whole spinner appear as if it's just one round line. How do we do that? Well, let's just copy our .loading spinner circle class up here, and we give it a after pseudo element. Content is empty, so content empty string. We want a white background and a width and height of 100%. But wait, we don't see anything yet. Why is that? Well, if you look inside of the DevTools, then you see that the after pseudo element is created, but it's not positioned right, so it's somewhere up here. And the way that we position it right in the middle is, again, we use the display flex property on the loading spinner circle. We say display flex, we justify the content in the center, and we align items to the center. And now the spinner has disappeared because the after element with the white background sits right on top. So to make it look like a real loading spinner, we now say transform, scale, and now we make it smaller by saying 0.7. So it's 70% of the original size. And of course a border radius of 50%. So it's round as well. And there you have it. You have the white circle sitting on top of the gradient blue circle, but it is now 70% smaller. So now it appears as if there's a round gradient line. Now what else is missing when we have a loading spinner? Well, it needs to rotate somehow. And the way that we do that is by creating a loading class. And that class we will later add dynamically with JavaScript. So it will be display flex. It has an animation of rotate For 2 seconds we have ease in out, so it's a smooth easing in and out, and it will go infinite for as long as we have the loading class applied. And now lastly, we defined animation, so we use keyframes and we call it rotate. That's the name we have up here. And what will happen in this rotate animation? Well, we have a starting point and an ending point. And we want to rotate everything by, let's say, 720 degrees, starting at 0 degrees. You don't have to specify 0 degrees up here, that's the default, but it makes the code more readable. So let's add this class right now to our loading spinner circle. So we just add in loading here, and maybe you've seen it, I have a small typo here, so it's not infinite, but infinite. Save that, and there you have your loading spinner. So in 2 seconds it rotates 720 degrees, so that's 2 full circles. And now's the part where we will make that dynamic using JavaScript. So let's jump to our JavaScript file. In here we have the button, which we get by saying document.query selector. And we have, of course, we have the class button, but for this we created a class of loading btn. The reason we called this loading button is to make it more specific, because in your project you might have several buttons that have the button class, but maybe only to 1 or 2 you want to add a certain event. And by using a specific class name, you can make sure that you grab exactly that button. Then we have the loading element itself, so loading element equals document.query selector, and the element that we want has the class of loading spinner __ circle. Then we want a variable that has the loading state, so we say set is loading equals false, because in the beginning we don't want that to be loading. Now let's add an event listener, so button add event listener, and we listen to a click event, and once the click event is recognized, then we want to do something. First of all, let's just say console.log clicked. So in the console you can now see that it gets this click element. Now what do we actually want to do? Well, first of all we want to change the loading state to whatever is the opposite. So when it's false, we want to set it to true. When it's true, we want to set it to false. And we do that by saying is loading equals whatever loading is not at the moment. So first case, we have the loading case. So if is loading is now true. So the first time we click this button, is loading is false. We click the button, it's set to true, and now this will run. So if loading is true, something should happen. So first of all, we change the button text, because we don't want to have start loading anymore as the text, but instead we want to say stop loading. And then we also want to toggle the loading spinner. We don't have that function yet, we will create it in a second. In the other cases, we want to stop the loading. So if is loading is false, then we want to change the button text back to, well, start loading. And again, we want to call the toggle loading spinner function. Very simple, right? Now what does this toggle loading spinner function actually do? Right now in the CSS we have this display property of the loading spinner circle set to flex. But we want to start out by having it set to none. And then we also want to remove this loading class from the HTML, because that we will add with the JavaScript. So right now we're back to where we started. We have the button. We still have the click event, but, well, there's no loading bar showing. And you can see the reason why. Toggle loading spinner is not defined. So let's do that. Inside of our script file, we now define the function toggle loading spinner. And in toggle loading spinner, we again listen for the is loading variable. When it's true, we want to do something. When it's false, we also want to do something. So what do? Well, we have this loading element, which is our spinner. And all we need to do is we need to add the loading class that we define. So we have loading element.classlist.add, and in here we add the loading class. Now once this loading state is false, so when we want to stop the loading spinner, all we have to do is say loading element.classlist.remove, and then again we remove the class that we just added. Let's see if that works. So we start out not seeing a loading spinner, then we click it, the loading spinner shows. Now our state is set to true, the is loading state is set to true, and only once we click the button again, it is set to false and we don't see the spinner anymore. And in a real project, of course, you wouldn't toggle the is loading state with a button click, but probably once you submit a certain form or you call a certain web page, then the loading element will show until that page is fully loaded or whatever action that you need has performed. And there you have it, my friends. That is how you create a simple loading spinner using JavaScript. If you did like this video, then please leave a like and a comment down below. And subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.